All right, all right. Good morning. How we doing?
Good morning. We're all so changed. Look at my hair, your beard. Michael still looks young, looks still like 22, so it didn't change much.
Yeah, being a dad hasn't aged you at all, Mr. Goldin.
Well, you should have seen me 2 years ago, and then big change.
Big change. Awesome. Well, yeah, it's been a little while since we've gotten together, just because of the craziness of scheduling. Travel is picking up, and for me personally, I think the revenge travel term is a legit thing. 8 flights last week, a couple 1,000 miles of travel, and so here we are, back together, reunited as a Good Morning Hospitality family. I love it.
Yes, sir. Likewise, I've been in 5 cities the past 5 weeks. So from Boston to California to Texas to South Carolina, all over the place.
Amen. And then we got Mr. Ross, who hasn't left his apartment.
I was stuck here. No, I didn't. I just stayed here, slept 1 meter away from me. No, but it's still. I had my second shot last week, so I think I'm ready to go. Yeah, I'll go back to my hometown, to the Netherlands, I think in 1.5 weeks. So first travel since a while. So looking forward to that one. So
yeah. Well, I'm excited. It's going to be a good one because I think as things are picking up in America, and then hopefully slowly with you guys, that you will get more in-person stuff. But one thing we've kind of talked about is the hybrid events and how this is going to be a big thing. But then with the revenge travel, we've seen people at conferences and shows and all this other stuff. So it'll be interesting to see, does a hybrid model play as strong as we thought? But before we jump into that conversation, I would love to just do a good old bid-ruption report because I've missed the bid-ruption report so much. So we're going to jump right in.
Let's do it. I miss this so much. That's why I'm making it special with 2 startups of the week this time. If you're looking at the top 5 investments, actually, in the last month, 2 of them are bus companies. So Boozer, as you just saw on the screen, which is a Brazilian company. They actually are the Uber of the bus company, as I just saw as an explanation. So you can rebrand your bus into a Boozer, become kind of pink, and then actually you can rent it out. They're just more focused on technology. They raised $138, so quite successfully, especially when they're still focusing on the Brazilian market. The other one who raised a quite large investment was Flixbus. Flixbus, a German company, raised 650 million euro, and in total they already did 1.2 billion. So if you look at the investments of the last month, again, 2 of them, they're bus companies. The other 2 actually was the same investment, split into train. So you can see different ways of transportation seems to become more popular as they raise quite significant funds. So again, well done, Boozer and Flixbus, and especially Boozer. My compliments, as you're focusing on one country so far. So it's nice to see. I also read quite a lot of articles that this is still the time for startups to be more grow more than ever. So I think you see still you don't see many new investments in travel. You see some, but not on the old level. Nice to see there's in different spaces now. I think a few months ago you saw many in the vacation rental industry. Now you see some in transportation. So let's see what is coming. Then the events part. Last week I was speaking in the USA Croter event. That's also the award we won last year. It was actually postponed now. It was the US edition. And then later this year, I think it's December, is the real one again in Istanbul, where I'm going to present as well. I finally pick up my award for Best Travel Founder. And then the 1st of July, we have a new I Meet Hotel Spain edition. A few weeks ago, we had our own I Meet Hotel event. So it was really was great. It was a large audience, and it was focusing on the US market as well. So was a great event as well. And yeah, still hybrid events. So for also with their own I Meet Hotel. Now we're just looking, are we going to keep it online, or are we going to do it live again? But there's a longer discussion in this episode. One thing is interesting to mention already. I also had a call with one of the largest tour operators in the industry, and we talked about as well about business hybrid. And he said, okay, I think business travel comes back exactly how it was. So let's see. Let's discuss with the others, and can't wait also what's with the noise.
There Grandma is getting her donut on. Yeah, long time no see. Excited to be back. And what I chose for What's With the Noise this week is a topic near and dear to Michael Ross's heart. But as it comes closer, and if Delta ever does this, then it'll be the best subscription I ever owned. So there's a company out of India that is now doing subscription flights. And right now it's 3 cities that are live, and they've got 7 more that are in the pipeline. But it comes out to be about $700 a month. And I think for any of us that travel twice a month, especially if the cities that are selected are the frequently visited ones, that's a no-brainer. And Wall Street loves recurring revenue. So I would suspect to find a number of companies, maybe U.S. or Europe focused, that are keeping a close eye on this Indian company and if it's replicable to them in their markets. But it's a great way to come out of a pandemic is with thousands of subscriptions.
When you sent that article,
you know, I love subscriptions, so maybe we should launch Bitflies now. But of course, it's an interesting area. We also spoke with some airlines actually, because the more airlines want to go to this space, not directly unlimited flights. They more want to say, we have subscription, and for this membership fee, you always have upgrades when possible. You have check-in luggage for free, seat luggage, you don't have to pay extra, etc. So more airlines will come. We're speaking to a few as well in this field for partnerships. And well, you see again, recurring income, of course, is interesting, right? You can see for valuations and think also airlines when you can see the impact now of the last 1.5 year. So yeah, it is interesting to see.
Nod.
Yeah.
I know you can't say, but just give a head nod if it's Delta.
I was gonna say. I was gonna say, when you sent that link article in a group chat, I was like, "Oh man, Ross is gonna love this one."
We should have a paid session afterwards, so that if you really want to know the teaser, who airline it is, just watch on the paid episode, and it's we could do to get some teasers and on the free session, and we have a paid subscription membership, and then we're just sharing with more.
Hey, I have the ability to do that. I've been playing around with it behind the scenes, so it's something that is very possible. And if you're somebody watching out there and looking to sponsor, we're always open. But so I was thinking just the other day, because as we were talking about this conversation of in-person / hybrid events, I remember when you and I first met, Ross, that you guys were actually doing iMeet Hotel in person. That was an in-person event every destination you guys were doing. But then due to the pandemic, you guys shifted. So now I want to kind of like start off, I guess, the conversation with that, and then we can go into Michael, where you were in San Diego for the other conference. I think it was either conference or convention. But are you guys planning on shifting that back to in-person stuff, or is that more of it's based on the destination you guys want to host it in?
Well, it's more, first we're really focusing on destinations, and I think on the 1st of July we have the Spanish edition, but it's still going to be online. I think with the whole iMeet Hotel approach, we also go more to niches, so more, for example, about echo or loyalty, etc. So then it's not particularly needed to be in a specific location. I think the location additions, they will come back to specific locations because it was successful. Yeah. And I think it's also a network effect. I think that's really important of business travel and conferences, is there's a network part, right? And this is something you just don't know. If you're watching a webinar or you're joining an online conference, there's no network. Yeah. You're just not going to just chat with somebody half the evening somewhere else. No, you're just leaving afterwards. So I think that's really important that the iMeet Hotel conference actually was, of course, also connected to networking, especially the part after took always longer than the event by itself. And I think that's the same with the rest of the events later, the Focusrite and the Skift and all the other big, which still didn't sponsor us, by the way. But still, if you're looking at the big travel conferences, I go there. The content is nice, but I go there for networking and partnerships. Yeah. And I think that's the main reason as well to go to this event. So I think it will come back for sure. You will see that the smaller ones, the webinars, the really content related ones, they might still how hybrid or online, but you see the ones that are really important for networking, they will just be they will be back, but in a different way, right? You see, I think the skip on this, I think this year is on the airport hotel, if I'm correct. So it's already a different location. I think, I'm not sure, but I think it's a smaller location, and it's also going to be hybrid. So you will see some changes there. I think still, I love to travel again and to meet people in person, and I think that's also how we grow the business so far, by networking.
Yeah, I want to give one shameless shout out too, because I saw that we got a like and a thumbs up from our good friend Damien Sheridan, who is the founder and creator of the Book Direct show and the Book Direct Network. So that's a conference I know
that in London.
Yes, I was gonna say
it is 100% in person. It will not be held online this year. So shout out, Damien.
That's awesome. Yeah. Love it. That's a good sign. It's a good sign of recovery, especially I know I think the first Book Direct conference was actually in person. And then we had that, whole COVID-19 thing happen. I met Damien at the Short Stay show and the Shorties Award last year before everything kind of locked down. And so I know the all online and the all in person, there's a big difference. And we've chatted about that. So I think Damien would have been a great person to actually have as a guest speaker. He says right now, actually, I'd rather be having a beer with you guys now than walking you from my desk.
Well, that's exactly our topic today, Damien. So I think to get back to like the in-person events versus not, the conference I went to in San Diego was super, super interesting. They only had the like big talks, so only in the morning and at the end of the day. The entire rest of the day was just for networking. They know how starved people are for networking. And granted, it was in California, but no masks, all in person. It was pretty strange compared to the past 18 months. But the organizers understood why people are going to their events, and it's really to network and to meet one another. It's sometimes for the content. At NoiseAware, we used to do most of our hiring in the fall and then send the new hires to conferences so they can see people, meet, learn, go to sessions, understand the industry. But I think, to your point, Michael, I don't sit in too many of the talks, but the majority of my time is grabbing beers with guys like Damien who are super plugged into the industry and know what's going on and who the up and comers are and who the on the way out folks are. And I think the value of purely online is gone. Like, we did a number of them last year, didn't see much from it at all, if anything. And we know that in person, we get a heck of a lot more out of it. So hybrid might be good for those that are health conscious or elderly or not vaccinated or whatever. But if you can't get together in person at the end of this year, second half of this year, then the old adage, the rich get richer. In America, we're doing it. It's happening. And to our European counterparts that can't get together and can't gather, we're miles ahead of where they are. So we're lucky that we've gotten the vaccine rolled out the way we have, and maybe the restrictions rolled back as early as they were. But I mean, in the UK, they're about to extend the restrictions, which just blows my mind. But whatever, I guess they're the elected bodies that those countries chose. They can always vote them out next time.
Well, I go back to this hybrid part. I think it's really important. See that as an extension, right? When you just say as a conference, we didn't always had it at the live conference, and if people were not able because of cost or etc., there are different reasons. Times, okay, I can still attend the conference because it takes me only a few hours instead of a few days. I think then it's great. But I think, and as Michael said, the main reason was never for me the content, was always a networking part, always. And even though there were sessions, I was often still in the networking space or in the lounge space because other people couldn't be bothered to listen to some content. And then you're networking there. Often when the network in the events, often the drinks are included. So of course it also helps a bit to stay a bit longer. But yeah, again, I think this networking part is so important. And again, if it's really focusing on content, then listen to some podcast of some guys like us or Damien, etc. Great for content, but for networking, of course, just meet people again in real life.
Michael, how much of an advantage do you think it is for, particularly right now, the American companies that are able to get out and go do in-person meetings and go do networking and all that, compared to, our European competition or your American competition or whatnot? Is it a massive advantage, or do you think it's slight or not existent?
No, I think it's super important. Again, if I look at our company, if you look at the investors we have, if you're looking at the partnership we have, it's all because we met them in person, and none of them we met online and then further. And I think still in Europe, of course, you see the majority of the conference, the bigger ones there in the main cities, or in the UK. I still think if you're looking at the big size, of course, you have the I2B. I think this one will change. It was really more like a trading thing, and it was already pretty old school in my opinion, the ITB, even though it was nice to be there. I think if you're looking at the Skift, the focus, right, those kind of conferences, this was really focusing on more on also on technology, more on travel. This will work. I think that particularly the real trading ones, I think they will be differently. So I think that ITB will not come back as how it was before. I think the other conference, they could come back. And again, I would travel. I can't wait to travel, for example, later this year again to the US or Skift or Focusrite or both of them. What ITB, which I always love to go there. I'm not sure if it's needed again next year, March.
Yeah, I mean, Focusrite US version is going to be in person in, I think, November, as it always is.
I think in Miami again, and is it for now that they were tour.
Yeah, but the European one's fully online. So
I don't go there. I don't go to the Focusrite in Amsterdam, which is kind of weird because it's next door, right? So I just
crowd.
Somebody else from the team went there. It was completely different scale, completely differently. So it's that the Focusrite in Miami there's some content, but it's mainly networking.
Yeah.
And the one in the Netherlands and in Amsterdam I didn't even go there, even though it's your hometown. So
yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I think to your point, like there were times even during COVID that I'd take like a quick business trip, take someone out to dinner, and surprisingly or unsurprisingly, the next day a signed contract is sitting in my inbox. Something that I've been waiting on for 1, 2, 3 months, and all it takes is a dinner out, right? Like it's amazing how even though the world has become so digitized and so easy to communicate and see people online all the time, it's just not the same. It's just not even close. So
how would it be if we were meeting in person? Because we never met each other. Well, maybe you both did, but I never met you both in person.
Yeah,
isn't it? So
Michael, we were not supposed to meet, but I was in Texas in January of 2020 before everything happened, and then so I met majority of the Noiseware team. But yeah, Michael and I have never met in person, so it's crazy to think that none of us I met. We had Cindy on the show last time a couple weeks ago. I haven't met her in person yet, but I'm meeting her in person again this week, and I've met other people that I've been talking to online for a year in person. Finally, it's like, holy crap, this is so crazy to see the flourishing. So
I'll meet Will in the next probably 3 or 4 weeks as we start rolling out in some of the Orion House properties.
Yeah.
But I'm just got to pick the right.
It'll be emotional when you see each other. It's like we slow motion, running to each other. Then how is it going to be? We have to film this. This is going to be
good.
I'll be running up to him with my phone in my hand, just like tears down my face.
We have to record this.
We'll make that happen.
To record this.
Perfect.
Come on, in a few years there will be TV studio live from our own studio, Good Morning Hospitality. So then it's all differently. But for now, we'll do it this way.
Dream big. I'm loving it. I think
travel and tourism is 10% of the world's GDP, so it certainly warrants its own big live show.
Yeah. Hey, maybe we just take this topic and this episode, and then we make an announcement for our first, Good Morning Hospitality in person / hybrid online event. Who knows?
And 2 out of 3 of us
will be paid as well, right? So they have to pay a ticket or will be paid content, right? Or on Netflix.
Exactly.
We have to just finalize the deal once, Will, because it takes too long with them. Or I couldn't say this because of the NDAs.
We gotta get a Bidruption subscription going. So you got to create a Bidruption or a Bidroom subscription for this conference specifically. Okay, that's what you guys are tasked with. Get on
Let's do that.
Like, chop.
If you close the deal with Netflix for our episodes,
wildly off topic.
Hey,
what happens when we haven't done a show in a few weeks and we're catching up? So despite never seeing each other in person,
well, we could talk about how the kids are doing all those things, but do this also. This is the paid show afterwards. So that's
Michael, give us an update on the hotel school. How's that coming along? I mean, hotels are ramping up and struggling. I know in America, struggling to hire people.
Well, you see in the whole space, you see that, of course, Bidroom is partnering with them, and you see what a lot of what's happening now is that still all the hotels, even though for us we're Bidroom reaching out to them, you see they have some struggles and some difficulties to find people. I think if you're talking, we also partner with some other, like for example, Tip. We had them once. I mentioned them. We have a partnership with them, and they are giving now benefits to employees. You can see that the hotels and the restaurants, they're really struggling with workforce. So they're now focusing, I think, the rest of this year just to get people. And I think later this year they say, okay, can we get can we just upskill them or reskill them or find better people? Now they just need people. So I think also I didn't experience much hospitality so far. That's time recently, but I think as soon as I will travel, I don't know, what is your experience now? Did you see kind of different like hospitality or level? Because I think it's completely changed.
I was going to share that too. Like we had some unique experiences because you guys know, Goldin and I are both Marriott fans, and definitely hotels, restaurants are struggling with staffing. It's obvious to see that, but we stayed at a West Inn. Okay, so we were staying at a West Inn hotel. That's usually a brand that you expect. The room's clean, the check-in's friendly. The whole experience from entry to exit is pretty smooth and seamless, to the point where you get to the desk once, you shouldn't really have to go to the desk multiple times throughout your stay, even if it's just very short. We didn't have that experience. The parking wasn't clear, the check-in was, choppy. It wasn't very friendly. Plus, then the rooms themselves, like there was leftover food in the mini fridge.
Lucky you.
The bed. Yeah, the bed wasn't it was clean, but the beds did no hospital corners. The sheets were wrinkled.
Come on, they should know that the Will Slickers, one of the best famous podcast hosts in the world.
They didn't have a welcome card.
No welcome card. No, but what I did a video just because the little attention to detail stuff that it wasn't a mess, but it was the little stuff, and then just so you could definitely tell the hospitality is different from the way it was in 2019. I don't know. So it was kind of like that experience the whole time we were there in that city. The dinner that we went to should have been a quick, order, get our food and drinks, pay.
But how did you book? You have to use it. What I often do even though I send it by myself or our office manager, make a reservation, so our CTO is coming. It helps. So do it as well. Make another email address hey, the big, important, famous podcaster Will Slickers want to stay in your hotel, even though you write it by yourself, Will.
Well, I didn't think about that, but it's always interesting to see how.
I'm not doing this. I'm maybe.
Well, I was gonna say it's interesting to see especially when we did book direct. I didn't book the reservation myself, but we did book online, and then I asked them, hey, is my loyalty rewards number on there? And oh, no, it's not. I was okay, here it is. Gave it to them. Then when they saw the status, they're that kind of their whole demeanor changed, right? So it's part of me struggles because we shouldn't be changing because we know someone's a gold or platinum or CFO, CEO of this. It should be like that consistently.
Always.
So yeah, it was interesting.
The biggest noticeable difference in hospitality, in my opinion, is or has been at restaurants. It's longer wait times, consistently worse service. and super slow, like from start to finish.
Yeah.
We complain as Americans, Michael. We know it's very European to have a dinner that lasts 3 hours, but as Americans,
depends on the country. It really depends on the country.
I want in and out in an hour, like max.
Mhm.
Like give me a seat,
Dutch as
give
well.
me a drink. Let's go.
But in Dutch, we would like to the topic, dinner, and go. If you go, like for example, with French people, they're starting, or even Belgium, they're starting during lunch and they finish in the evening, and then it's the same with French. So Dutch people are more to the point, and time is time. It's okay. We have a dinner. Okay, it's from 2 to 3. Wait, it's like not even, so you know exactly when you're finished. So,
that's how ours was. We had to go ahead.
Yeah, it's hard now. You can't time it that way because a lot of restaurants are still closed. So that means these other restaurants that are open all have longer wait times, and they're still shorthanded on staff. So just even to get an order in takes 20 minutes longer than it normally would. So it's a struggle to hire people right now in the US at least.
I think it will take a while because other people work in the hospitality, they move to different kind of industries because they need to. And of course, if it take 1 month, they won't just manage. But it took so long that they'll just move to different industries, and they're not coming back, right? Just many of them. So you have to really like skill now completely new group of people, which takes a while. And as well, just normally when I look at the American chains, you just know that if I just go, for example, to Sheraton in Krakow, for example, I just know the experience is great. Completely different approach, and you go to a different hotel. But this is something, if this is going to change, it will just also change, of course, the whole loyalty is okay. My experience wasn't great, and if it happened the second time, like, oh, maybe I tried somewhere else, right? So it is important that you just keep this quality. It's going to be super difficult. So I'm curious, and I think the hotels now, I'm not sure if they're going to invest a lot in education and upskilling, reskilling of their people. It's now just to optimize, I think, revenue and profit. And I think as soon they see the issues and the problems and the complaints, then they might say, okay, maybe we should do something there. So I think as soon people don't complain too much, I think they'll be okay. I think at the end, just say, I think now they're surviving. I think the end of the year, people say, okay, now we have to do something because this goes bad. So now
I wonder the average review has the average review rating dropped significantly in 2021 versus 2019.
That'd be an interesting stat. Can you check them all? Can you just 100,000 properties check it, Will, for next episode just to see if anything happened there? Yeah, Will. Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah, I'll call my assistant while I'm on the plane. Have her do that.
your
after she finishes your hotel reservations.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, that's a good point. And one thing that I think about, just like, because I think what hotels can really, like, I was just talking about this with somebody else, but talking about what I feel like sometimes I dog on hotels, even though that's where I came from, but they have a great product. They have great hospitality. They've been around for so long. Vacation rentals have really embodied tech. But then what I think vacation rentals and hotels can embody more is like kind of that startup culture. Instead of doing an orientation with everyone in a room, watching videos or listening to a boring speech or whatever, like getting ways to engage the staff in a longer, better way with things like hotel.school, with micro content to give them those skills in between into micro doses that basically help them not zone out and throw everything that they just learned right out the window. There's a lot of stuff that can be done to like retain staff better, but I think we just get so used to hire, throw to the wolves. If they last, they last. If they don't, hire again. Like it's a
what is
bad.
Also interesting, what you see is that the hotels, instead of this sleeping experience, this is that you can do in a vacation rental or somewhere else. You see that the hotels really now, all of them, if you're looking all the meta search or the booking platforms, all of them, they're really focusing on now adding perks. This is if you're looking at Booking.com is also doing this now, upgrades, vouchers for restaurants. Of course, we're doing this for a while. Trip Plus, you see many of them is okay. You have a great, well, depends on the platform. At least at Bidroom, you have a good deal for your stay. But the extra perks again is super important, and you see all the platform moving into this space. Like, how can we deliver more value for the member as well? Of course, to upsell more, right? If you get a €20 voucher for a restaurant, of course, their goal is to make you this dinner in their restaurant and spend you $100 whatever in the restaurant, and same with the spa and everything. So upgrade, especially in Europe when there's like still the occupancy is still pretty bad. It's okay, just upgrade where possible for the experience.
True.
So this has become pretty popular in here.
Yeah, I can say I've been upgraded on pretty much every flight and hotel stay I've had during COVID.
Yeah,
which is great. But that said, like, you're paying premiums right now, and the experience is still not quite as good. So maybe they have to figure out how to justify it, or at some point, price can't continue to outpace service. That's what you pay for in a hotel. On a short-term rental, you check in and the house is yours, right? There's no like concierge.
We have different expectations, right? It just, if you go for a hotel, it's the room, it's the breakfast, it's the experiences, the check-in, is like
the
maybe
bar.
a 5, 6 or more. The bar, there's so many, the bar, etc. If you're looking at vacation rental or short-term rental, just looking at the room, you're looking at this. That's it, right? And as this one is good, you're good. But if in the hotel, you have to take care of much more parts to give a great experience.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
And you could have an amazing room, but the check-in is a room mentioned in that the check-in was bad. Then mini bar, these things the vacation rental doesn't have to think about. And then you're going downstairs, for example, and have a drink, and then it's like you're asking for a cocktail, don't even know how to make the cocktail. You're just disappointed. It's okay, next time I will go back to a vacation rental again, because what was the added value for the hotel?
Yeah, and the last piece of travel tourism that I'll complain about in my recent experiences is Uber. It is not only significantly harder to get an Uber, but it's also a lot more expensive, to the point where there's times that I've taken cabs and it's been cheaper and much faster, especially from the airport.
Yeah.
If the Uber says it's going to be 10 minutes before it even arrives, and it's as much or more expensive than a cab, like,
he's right there.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Like, I have no loyalty to Uber. There's no rewards that
there is rewards. There are.
Yeah, I've never seen them. And I take Uber a lot. So maybe I'm just not looking in the right spot. But
did you link your Bonvoy account?
I have not, no.
That's where you're messing up. Yeah. There you go.
Probably nominal points. I'm not worried about that.
They also, I think, they took an Uber and really during COVID and stuff. Like, of course, I don't take public transport, so normally I could take a taxi or an Uber, but I didn't do, right? I just drive by yourself. It's okay, prefer not to drink, and I'll just drive back, right? So I think it changed as well that they have, I think the people who were an Uber driver, they were self-employed, they had to make some money. There was no tourist, so you're also moving to a different space. So I think there are less Uber drivers, which means there's a higher demand, which means you can increase your prices.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, we got a little off topic, but it's good because I think all of this plays into hybrid and in-person stuff, because it's travel related. In order to get to a hybrid event or an in-person event, you have to fly, take a train, take a bus, take an Uber, whatever. So it's good stuff. Any final thoughts you guys would like to leave the audience with before we close out the session today?
How much do you want to pay for the paid content, the after sessions? No, I'm kidding. The place behind me in here is that this you can sponsor as well. So the background sponsoring, we have different opportunities now. So this whole space is for rent as well. Now you can see bedroom, but we also want to see Michael ones with a different background. That would be cool.
Yeah, well, maybe Will and I will get together in the coming weeks and do it. We can do a lot together.
Yeah.
So I guess my parting words will be I'm anxiously watching the UK as they might be extending travel again. I've got a trip planned to Scotland in end of July, and they're trying to push it back, and that would piss me off and make me quite upset.
Your castle stay, right?
Yeah. Yep. So
yeah,
we'll see, man. Come on, Boris, don't be an idiot.
Yeah, there we go.
Otherwise you can come back off.
Otherwise, yeah. Well, are we allowed to go to Poland?
I guess so. And here goes, well, nobody's testing anymore, I think so. But it seems to go quite well. I think so, yeah.
I'm really fine with that pivot.
I can manage something here. No, but it'll be fine.
Awesome, guys. Well, sweet. I'm excited. Thank you again for being flexible on the whole travel and whatnot. We will continue again next week. I'll be back this Friday home and rested for another great Monday. And we'll have plenty of more topics to talk about. So we'll see everybody again soon. Check out the episode on Apple, Google, Spotify, you name it. And then, of course, watch the replay on our YouTube. And we'll see you guys again next week.